everyone, welcome to my channel, Kimbaskrafts. My name is Kim, and if this is your first video, welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you're returning, welcome back. As always, thank you for your continued support. So we are here today. I have my Oroloa. It's called Hello Moon. There's a ton of videos on this particular canvas. I'll put a picture over here in the corner of the entire canvas. But I started her last night. It's Friday. You might hear a little sleep in my voice. I went to bed late. I was up pretty late. Just doing other things and finishing up my my heart flower jars and posting about it and doing all that stuff. So, but I just wanted to throw some drills down on this, and yeah, really loving, you know, the Oroloa squares never disappoint. And so I'm doing this video because I was asked, somebody had asked me if I could do a video on how I diamond paint my squares. I'm not a perfect diamond painter by any means, but I do try to diamond paint as straight as I can. And, you know, this is what I have so far. So there's very little gapping, and, you know, that's what it's looking like. So they asked me, like, how do I diamond paint straight, and if I could do a video on it. So I thought about it, and I will tell you what my tips and tricks are, and what I do to try to diamond paint straight my squares. Okay, I guess some of it pertains to rounds, not all of it. But my first thing is, a lot of it might have to do with the actual canvas and drills. If your grid is too big and it's very gappy, then you might have more, you know, well, you're going to have more gapping, and you're going to have a lot more room for your drills to kind of be off center, because there's just room around them. So, you know, that unfortunately, other than you placing the drill straight, that is a grid issue. And, you know, there of course is going to be some placement factors involved, but most of that will be you know, company related. So Oroloa, I feel like, is a really good company to show you this video on, because I feel like their grid is superb and their drills are amazing. So that's why I decided to do the video with this one. Before I get into all of that, I'm just going to go over the items that I'm using. And somebody else had asked if I could show how I load my pens, as well as what I do to use my washi tape. Okay, how I use my washi tape. So the first thing I'll tell you is I'm using this binder like storage system called Craftmates. I use this often. There's 56 pods. There's 8 of these strips here, and I use it if there's like 50 or less colors in a kit. I will pull this one out. I always start with them in the binder, but by the time I'm done, they're kind of laying all over my desk. So I just have them up above my desk, like in rows. For my pen, I am using this purple, and I don't think this is wood, but maybe it is. Maybe it is. It's a hybrid pen. Yeah, maybe it is wood. I don't even know. But this was the first custom pen, and this wasn't a custom for me, but I guess my first hand-turned pen I ever bought, and this is from Dpgalcreations. She is on Etsy. And yeah, I love this pen. It's a great fit. I'm using metal placers from Amazon. I can I'll link the shops and the items below. I have a 10 placer here, and I have a single tipped metal placer. Now I want to say, and well, we'll get into that when we start actually diamond painting. For my trays, I have these two Bella Art deNicole trays. These are for larger areas, and then for, you know, smaller drill areas, I have their Bella Essential tray. Again, I will link these in the description. And then for my tape, I have this Scotch Expressions, I think they're called, washi tape in gold. And I really like the Scotch washi tapes, so I had just ordered a bunch of packs, and I thought this one matched nicely. So first I'll tell you how I use my washi. I can speak. Okay. I decide how wide I want my row, and those can vary. I don't measure. I just decide, like, based maybe on the picture or like how, whatever. I just pick a line. I decide how thick I want the row, and then I lay it down on the line. Now, you know, square diamond paintings, they have grid lines usually. And so I just follow the grid line all the way across. After I decide how thick I want my actual row to be, and I actually got this tip off of Nurse Rachel and Krafts, because rather than grid out my entire canvas, which is I guess what I did the first time I did it, and committing to certain size squares for my entire canvas, I just do one row at a time, and then I section off as I go. I will pull this up, and I will just move it over, depending on how much I feel like I can diamond paint in that moment, because I like to finish a square if I can. I will walk away from squares. I'll just, you know, pull the cover sheet over again. But I will move this over and to determine how wide I want the section to be. And then I will diamond paint, and then I will take this off and move it over again and move it over again, you know, however many times. And then I take a picture of it because I finished a row. And I cut the cover sheet. So let's do this. What I'm going to diamond paint in this video. The section that I'm going to diamond paint on in this video. Not that I'm going to finish it. So I'll take it off, and this is reusable. So I'm not going to just toss it, and I'll move it over. And I'll just use this column of black here as my guide. And sometimes I'll turn the light on. I use the light a lot for things to really be able to see the grid line, and I'll just lay it along the P. These are P's, that's why I'm saying the P. I'll just lay it along the grid line here, like that. Okay, then I get my ceramic pen knife, and it's got a very small blade on it, very tiny blade on it. You see that? I like to use these because I don't trust myself enough not to cut through the canvas. I've never cut through the canvas. I've pushed pretty hard with it, but you really don't need to push very hard. You're just cutting a small piece of plastic here. And I just take this and I go along the bottom of my washi. And I pull this over, revealing my square now, and I just crease it over up to the washi. And voila, this is my now square that I will diamond paint. I like the washi because it tells me exactly where I'm stopping, as opposed to just like, it's just a guide, you know? So that's how I set up my page, or my square and my washi. And I'll move it over, I'll cut it again, pull the cover sheet over, move it over, cut it again, pull the cover sheet over, until this just comes off, right? After I've gone all the way across. And now I just have my diamond painted row, and I have all the grid below it that's not diamond painted still covered and protected. And that's just how I've been doing it. So that's that part. The other part is how I load my pens. I'm just going to cover this up because obviously we're not ready yet, but now it's set and ready to go. So what my go-tos are, and I've tried other putties, and you know, it's going to be user preference. For a while there, hold on, let me show you. For a while there, I was using this one. You can see it. I used a decent amount of it. And then for some reason, it just started to get a little too sticky. Like, it wasn't giving my drills up. It just got, I don't know, like, just too sticky. And I was watching Crafting with Susie. She's another creator here on YouTube, and I'll link her channel below. She's got an awesome channel, does a lot of different crafts, but diamond painting focused. And she had mentioned that she uses this Gorilla mounting putty. And so I was having difficulty with that one. I ordered this. It's very, very reasonably priced. And it comes in these like squares. I've had this for a long time, and I can tell you that loading my pen with this, I can literally, I won't have to change it out for this entire canvas. This is a 50 by 60. I won't have to change it out. I may, because like, it doesn't lose its stick. It's not because it loses its stick. It's because, like, as I'm diamond painting and it pushes it out, I'll push it back in, but eventually sometimes I'll just scrape it off. And then it's just like, almost like I don't have enough of it anymore. So then I'll just reload my pen. But I think for that Heart Flower Jars, which was 100, what was it? I'm looking at it right now. 89 by 51 centimeters maybe. I think I changed it out once, and it was like really towards the end. So it lasts a very long time. So yeah, this is my favorite stuff. I've tried the fancy putties, and this just works the best for me. So you're just gonna have to, like, by trial and error, try different things. I think that the fancy putties are adorable. They smell great. And I would, because, you know, obviously as diamond painters, a lot of us are collectors of things, and I would love to be able to collect some of them, but this is just what works the best for me. And for efficiency's sake, I just go to this. So how I load my pen. Someone had asked me, how do you use it? Let me just empty this out. I will also say that I don't do anything different for my special drills unless it's the stuff is really super fresh and it's holding on to them too much. So a lot of, I mean, I want to say, no, all of that heart flower jars, I did not have to switch out like for wax. Sometimes I do. That's what I'm taking out of this pen right now is blue wax, because this was holding on to special drills too much. I think rhinestones maybe. But but in general, I can use this on my special drills and not have to switch pens. So that's just been my experience. So I really enjoy this stuff. Okay, so the way I use this is I just take my scissors and I just cut the tiniest bit off just to keep it straight. I mean, you can pull it off if that's what you want to do. You don't need a huge piece. Like, look how small that piece is. And then I just roll it. I hope this is big enough. I roll it into a snake, and then I lay it on top, and I just start pushing it in. Okay? Stretch it out to go to corner to corner. And once you push it in, you got some overlapping. Fold those over on top and push it back in again. And then on the other side as well. Now, this was a good piece. It seems to be the right amount. Maybe even, I might have been too conservative. But if it hangs over and you're like pushing and pushing and it keeps hanging over, just take your nail and pull it off and pull it off. And you can see it's like kind of, okay, let me stand up. It's kind of like more than you need, so that the drills will push that. I'm sorry, my nails are awful because they're so dry, but it'll push that out and onto the lip here. And as you diamond paint, I just push that back in. Okay, so that's how I load my multi-placer with the Gorilla mounting putty. Very easy. So as you can see, if it starts to get less sticky and you want to refresh, it literally takes 2 seconds. It's not a lot of work at all, right? Now how I load my single placer. This pen, by the way, is from the French company, and I always butcher the name, SesPlusBeauxAtours. I can't remember, but I will link it as well. This is, isn't it cute? It's not what I'm using on this painting, but it has glue dots in the single placer here. This is a pretty new glue dot, I can tell. And I don't want to use any of them because I can't find this on Amazon again, and I really like it. But this is a glue dot dispenser. And I don't know if you can see the little circle that's a glue dot. It's clear. You see it right there? So you just peel that off and you roll it into a snake, and then you put it in here. And you'll need, these are the mini. It says mini on there. I need 2 minis to fill one of these wells. If I use the micro, I'll need like 2.5, I think. And then I've never used any other. I've had this for well over a year now. I used it all last year. And then I just use tweezers to make sure that it's all shoved in. And that's it. That's how I load the glue dots in my single placer. Okay. I will also say that when I'm diamond painting, I always have a straightener. Okay, so this is important. This is an important tool for me. And since we're talking about keeping the diamonds straight, it's an important tool for this video. All right, so that's how I get set up. That's how I start my diamond paintings. I use a light pad. I know a lot of people do not like light pads. They can't figure out how people use light pads. I can't figure out how people don't. I just feel like those little grid lines, I can see them better with a light pad. So I like to use a light pad. A lot of times it's on pretty bright. The only time that I feel like a light pad is not helpful is if you have blurry symbols. If you have blurry symbols, try either lowering the light on the light pad or not using it at all. But that is not the case with Orloa symbols. They're very, very clear. So I'm going to utilize the light pad for this video. I also clip it to the light pad so that it doesn't move. Somebody had recommended taping it, so that works as well if you would like to. I tried taping stuff with washi tape. That doesn't hold enough. Maybe the Scotch will, because the Scotch is strong washi tape. But if not, someone recommended painter's tape. So I guess it's stronger, but it doesn't leave any residue. I haven't tried it, but that was a recommendation. Okay, so let's get on to the diamond painting part of it. So let me use the blue one. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to do the outline, the black outline. And when you're diamond painting squares, I think one of the main things that you have to remember is you have to be very picky with the squares, okay? You have to be picky. So that means you have to get rid of anything that is remotely not straight or has a foot on it, because anything that has any kind of protrusion on it, it will just push the square next to it over, right? And the whole point of this is you want things to be straight. So like this one, he's got a little foot, just the tiniest foot. We're going to get rid of him. So when you first dump your stuff out, you can either do that. You can either go through and pick out the naughty ones, or you can try to diamond paint around them. I like to just go in and pick out the naughty ones and get them out of the way. And then that way I don't have to think as much while I'm diamond painting. And I've been being very picky. So it looks like, you know, I don't care how good the diamond painting company is, they're going to have trash. Trash is not an issue for me as long as I have enough drills to finish the painting. So, okay, I think I'm good there. So I just picked out anything that I felt was gonna maybe make things kind of off kilter. The second thing is that where you start. Well, I guess this is the first thing. For me, I'm left-handed when I diamond paint. I don't do everything left-handed, but when I diamond paint left-handed. And so I start on the opposite side. That's my recommendation. And the reason being is when you lay down that first row, now you can push the next row up against it, and you can push it up against it on an angle like this. Whereas if I started this way, I would have to, it's just more difficult because you want these guys right up against each other. It's not like round drills, right? You want them, they want to get a little bit closer. No, I don't know that song, but I like that song. Anyway, you want them to be as close to each other as possible, okay? So that's why I started on this side, and then I will go back over here and start on this side so I can start doing it like this. What I don't recommend you do, and this is if it's a very tight grid, like I don't recommend you start here and start there and meet in the middle, because if there's not enough room for that last row, there's not a whole lot you can do except for try to smash it in there, okay? So if it's a very tight grid with a company, just keep that in mind. I think it flows better if you keep going the same way. And that's just, you know, my opinion. So of course, all of these are my opinions. These are the tips and tricks I use personally. You don't have to adopt them. You don't have to believe in them. And you can have your own opinions, of course, you know. My next opinion is, I know that there's a saying that, you know, you don't have to lay them straight, they'll straighten themselves out. I don't follow that rule at all. I feel like I feel like, yes, it will eventually, they'll kind of straighten out, but if they're not in their grid and they're off center and all of this, like, eventually you have to lay a straight line down to even try to straighten the other ones. And I don't see how this row is going to straighten a row that's 20 drills away. Like, so if you want them to be very straight, that ideology to me doesn't work. Your best option is to lay them as straight as possible as you go. You know, if you have a foundation, you lay this one straight, then this one will be straight, and then this one will be straight. Not if you lay this one crooked, and this one crooked, and this one crooked, and then this one straight, they're all going to be straight. It doesn't, in my mind, it doesn't work that way. I also feel like, you know, it's just going to be easier on you if you just straighten as you go. Now with the multi-placing, that's just going to take time and experience. When I first started multi-placing, I literally would multi-place and then have to every time turn it over and straighten them out. Then multi-place again, turn it over and straighten them out. And eventually I got to the point where I wasn't turning it over every time, you know, but it's just, I mean, I don't want to say it's a skill, but it is kind of a skill. Anything that you do a lot of, you know, will eventually become easier, right? And multi-placing isn't any different than anything else that we do in our life. It becomes easier as you go. And, you know, I do feel like taking that time to straighten your drills out and utilizing these grid lines will just help you along the way. Eventually you'll find that you're not doing that flipping over as much. But if you watch any of my mystery diamond paintings of the Abraham Hunter, you'll see like every time I lay, almost every time I have to swing this pen around and kind of straighten them out. Because I was just starting to learn how to multi-place, and placement for me was always important. So I think, I'm trying to think, are those the main things? I think those are the main things. So now I'm just going to show you. Actually, like, so I worked up to a 10. I started with like a 6, I think. But I just fill my multi-placer up now. And then, oh, I like to start on this top row and try to like really utilize this line here, and then I build off of that. So if it's on the side, I'll start on this row. Some people use a ruler, which isn't a bad idea, you know. They'll put a ruler here and then they'll lay their drills against the ruler. I try to just get right into the grid like that. So that one laid down straight. They're not always going to lay down straight, but that one did. And again, you know, if I had any feet in any of these or anything like that, then it would have been a different story. And you can hear the click because Orlo's grid is awesome. So this one has a foot that I missed. So you try to line them up on your pen straight, and you're starting off ahead of the game. See, and it doesn't take much to just turn your pen around and make sure that we're all grooving here. And what I'm lining it up against is that grid line on this P. So as you can see, like, I don't have to straighten every single drill that I put down, but I'm telling you, when I first started, I did, you know, and I took that time to do that. But as you become more proficient in it, you don't. And so I can see how many drills I need, and that's what I'll pick up with my multiplacer. I'll start at the corner, right? I'll grab one and then I'll grab two because I know I need two. I'll start at the corner and I'll grab one and then I'll grab two more. So I have three. I have three on my thing here because I need three. And then this one only needs one. So that's pretty much it, guys. And then if I feel like anything's off, I will pull this out. Like I was messing with it over here. There's nothing in this pen, and I'll straighten it before I move on to my next square. Because again, I want, this is kind of like my foundation, so I'm building off of this. I should have started at the top. It's a little harder right now because I don't want to bump you guys. You're like right there. So it's harder for me to see the top. All right, this guy's no good. Yeah, Orloa's drills will click a lot as you go. Like that. And so you just want to make sure that this is straight, right? And everything's lining up there. And let me bring it up to you guys. You see? So I think the main things are, one, straighten as you go. Two, well, one, remove all the trash. Be very picky about your drills. If you run out of a color, then call the company up and tell them the drills were too trashy, I don't have enough, and get more. But do not settle for drills with a bunch of feet that are going to push your rows, because you only need one drill to be over for all of them to be over, right? It's just physics. One can't be off center and the other ones be center. They will all be off center. So if you have a bad drill, get rid of it. Don't, you know, this is also a reason why, you know, it's nice to save your spare drills, because if you run out of colors for trash or whatever, and you're just trying to finish up a project, you know, you can utilize those. Next is straighten as you go. You know, have a straightener handy. Flip over if you're multi-placing and push them where they need to be. Don't let them be wonky and off center. And personally, I think starting on the opposite side will help you because, for instance, I can push these 4 into place, right? That's my dog. She's snoring. I can push these 4 into place as opposed to trying to push them into, you can, but it's just so much easier. You have more visual help. You can see it better. You have more control. If you're pushing this way as opposed to pushing this way, right? This way is good to pull, this way is good to push. So it's just easier. So if you've been starting on same side with your squares and you've been having issues with being straight, try that on your next row. Try, you know, try starting on the opposite side and seeing how it feels. And someone had asked, does it matter if you stay vertical through the whole painting or horizontal through the whole painting? I do both. I just straighten them as I go. I make sure that I stay straight. I haven't had an issue. What I like to do is I try to stay, if I'm doing horizontal like I am in this scenario here, I'm going to go up horizontal because the lines are longer this way. If I did it vertical this way, I'd be doing 3, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. Here I'm doing it 5, 5, 8, 9, you know, like, so I'm going to do it horizontal this way. I'm going to stay horizontal this way until I get to here. And then here I'm going to go vertical. I'm not going to do horizontal, vertical, horizontal. I sometimes I do, but I also feel like, you know, that comes with experience as well. Like, because you're just diamond painting straighter. Like, I feel like that one was naughty. I feel like, yes, as you get more experience, you just start diamond painting straighter. It's almost like, you know, if you inherit good habits, if you start with trying to diamond paint straight, then you'll continue to, type thing. So sometimes I'll go up and I'll have too many drills. I'll just knock one off. If I don't count, because I just look and try to count. This one needs an extra. I'll go back in the tray and grab an extra on the end and pop it down. So this is where I wanted to take it. I wanted it to be up to there. Then I'm going to do 3 here and 1 here. And I will use my multi-placer to put one down. And then this is where I'll start going vertical. But I'm going to finish this row here. So I'm going to keep going horizontal for 10. having issues. One more. There you go. We make sure that these are all lined up. This row looks good. Now I'm going to go up and down. But this one I'm not liking. Like that. And then I have to, holding this tray's moving while I'm trying to, okay. I have to hold this back as I, and then you can use this to straighten your drills. Like that. And go up. One more. And then one. Like that. So that's how I multi-place. Now this one I could go this way, but I'm definitely going to go this way up to, I'm going to go this way starting over here. So this is where I'll be pushing. So there's been a lot of trash, and I think that this is common with 310s. But don't be afraid. I think I'm going too low. I can't see the top. Don't be afraid to pull them out. You don't want to use them. Accidentally knocked one off. Yeah, I needed that one. Like that. And then I'm going to go on the lower end. I'm going to keep going this way. I want to get through this color so that we can, I can show you how it fills in. I'm just going to fill in a section. There we go. So you can keep going vertically. This part here, it probably would have been faster to do horizontal, but we'll just follow it down. And like I said, if you feel like something didn't lay straight, then just spin your pen around and fix it. Okay. And then, oh, we got a few down here. I'm going to put these away. And the next one I'm going to do is, so then I'd build off of that. But I'm going to do the plus sign real quick. And then we'll go ahead and do this arrow. So I'm going to grab 1A because there's only 1A in this section. So I'm just going to grab 1A. And then once I'm done this, we're going to call it quits on this video. I hope that, you know, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I hope that it's going to be helpful. So again, let's just look. This color is less trashy. It's 939. And I'm going to go ahead and first fill in this. It only has 9, so I'm going to pull one off and put it there. And then it has 4 up at the top. I'm going to squeeze those in. And then it's just a bunch of single placing, I think. We're just going to fill these in. So I'm done with this color. And usually like for like this kind of placement, if there's no multi-placing, I should have dumped it into the Bella Essential tray. Okay, we're done that. Okay, now I'm going to get the other tray because it's too, I feel like they're going to be two similar colors. I'm going to do this whole section here. Oh wait, there's a number 6 in there. Let me just fill that in. Number 6. There's one little number 6 at the top. So that's another thing I like about these is like you can pot dive and just grab one out. That's done. And I just need my arrow. So we're going to use my copper tray here because it's a light blue. I like very contrasting colors with my trays. So it's just easier for me to see them. And again, no matter what color I'm using, being a little aggressive with my shaking, I always look and grab out the trash. Okay, not a lot in there. So I'm going to start on this end. I'll start this little guy here and fill it in. And then I'm going to go to the top here. This is my favorite part when they start clicking in. And, you know, if you laid a straight foundation, as you're clicking in, you won't need to straighten as much because it is straight. And we're going to finish this section up, and then I'll bring it up to you so you can see. So sometimes the corners stop picking up drills, and I'll just bring that over and smush it in again. Because I place kind of hard, and so it'll push the Gorilla Putty right out of my pen and onto the sides. So I feel like, you know, just like with anything, if you take a little time in the beginning, now it's kind of easy breezy. So one fell out, not a big deal. Push those up, grab a new one. This is a 10 placer, but I think I'm actually picking up 11 at times. Just 2 more rows. And that's it. All right, I'm gonna bring you up. I'm gonna bring it up to show you. First, I'll turn this light pad off and you can see what it looks like. So it's pretty straight. If you're crazy like me, you might just even push a couple here and there. Not a whole lot has to be done. And there you go. Okay, I hope that was helpful. So again, I'll just go over my main points. There's kind of 4 of them. One, it could be the grid and drills. So, you know, if you're working with a high quality company like Oraloa, then, you know, you have a better chance of having a very, very straight canvas. 2, I personally believe that starting on the opposite side of your hand is more beneficial because you can push those drills like I just showed you in this row here up against the ones that are laid out. That's personally how I feel. Again, I think that you can do it just as well from starting the other side, but I feel like it's easier to push than it is to push this way than it is to push back, right? Straighten as you go. I personally would throw out the window that the drills will straighten themselves, because I don't think that they will straighten themselves. I think that they need to be laid down straight. And if they're laid down straight, then as you go, they'll lay down straight. Does that make sense? And be very picky about your drills. Get rid of anything that looks suspect. Get rid of the naughty boys. We're over that. We can't fix broken drills. Just get rid of them. And yeah, that's it. That is my recommendations for laying down straight drills on a square canvas. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up on the way out. And if you want to see more from me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join the family and friends here at Kimbaskrafts. I would love to have you. If you have any recommendations or anything that's worked for you, feel free to leave it in the comments. Again, if you adopt any of the ideologies that I personally don't, it's not a knock on you. I am no expert. This is what I utilize to lay down as straight of drills as I can, and it's what's worked for me. And so I'm just throwing that information out there, and you know, whatever works for you works for you. And yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care. Keep diamond painting.